Today I'm going to be tying a fly called the Pink and Purple Popsicle. It's a very popular salmon fly, and it's definitely been productive for me the last couple of years. It's easy to tie, and it definitely gets the job done. The materials that you're going to need are some pearl crystal flash, some pink marabou, some purple marabou, an articulated or long shank hook, and some black thread. So we're going to start by just tying in our thread. I'm using an articulated shank hook here. You can see it's a little different. It's got a trailer hook instead of being one solid hook. Cut off the tag end. Now I'm going to grab a piece of my pink marabou and just go ahead and tie that in from the stem. Then you just treat it as hackle. You grab hold of it with your hackle pliers and just spin it around the body. And you want to just keep manipulating the feathers to make sure they go towards the rear. Sometimes these marabou feathers break. They're pretty fragile. Then when you get close to the end of the feather, you just tie it down. And then I like to lean it back and put a few wraps over it just to help build some bulk on the body. Then you grab your next piece, you tie it in, and it's basically just rinse and repeat until you get about 3/4 of the way up the fly. You just want to keep wrapping it until you're happy with the position. So here we are. This is the last feather I think I'm going to need here. Just continuously wrapping it and manipulating the feathers towards the rear of the fly. And I'm just going to tie this last tag end off here, fold it back, and secure it down. Now for the next step of this fly, you're going to need your crystal flash. I'm using a pearl color here, but you can use pink or purple or any color that draws your fancy. You want about 10 to 15 strands. You don't need too much, just enough to add some flash. So when you go to put it on the fly, you want it to be longer than the marabou so you can trim the ends even. So you tie it so that it's around the whole fly. You don't want it all in one bulky spot along the back, so just spread it out a little bit. The point is just to add a little bit of flash around the whole fly. And once you have them secured down, you can gather up your ends, and I like to trim it just a little longer than the marabou. Now I'm going to go ahead and secure it down. And now we're ready to start adding our purple. There's lots of variations of this fly. I find this one works the best for me, but there's also yellow and orange. They work great. Red and yellow work great. They look like a Mickey fin. And even solid colors work well. So it's the same process as before. Just going to keep wrapping until you get to the eye of the hook. And there we go. That'll do it. So I'm going to just tie my feather down. Secure everything down. And now I'm going to build up just a bit of a head. This is a great fly. I love to swing this fly. It can be a little hard to cast because of the bulk, but it definitely works very well for salmon and big browns. So now I'm just going to tie my knot using my whip finishing tool. I always like to add a couple of extra knots, just something I do. I find it helps with the longevity of the fly. And there we go. Just going to clip off our thread. Now we're going to add a little bit of head cement. Keep everything nice and solid. You don't need too much, just enough to cover the head. You don't want it to get in your marabou because that'll make the feathers stiff and it won't have the action that it's supposed to have in the water. So that's it. That is a pink and purple popsicle. And as you can see, it's an easy fly to tie, and it's also a very, very productive fly. So this is it. The final result, your pink and purple popsicle. It'll work really well for salmon, and it'll work well for any sea run trout, big browns, probably even work well for stripers. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope we'll see you next time.